I'm Diane Prince, and people ask me all the time how to track goals and progress. So have no fear. I'm here to show you a way that I have found that works pretty well for me. First, I'm going to say that everything has pretty much been said and been done. And all of this stuff is just said in different ways. And you want to find the way that kind of hits you and works well for you. I always compare things to like fitness, right? So like, basically generally what it takes to get fit or get abs or whatever your fitness goals are. And, but you might need to hear it a different way from a different person in order for it to finally stick, or some kind of different method. Okay. So it's just, business is very similar to that. So I'm going to show you in this video the SMART rock method. And first, why this is important is because if you have goals, right, like you set goals, I believe in doing a 5-year vision and then a 1-year goal visioning exercise. But 1 year is too long to track results because it's too easy to procrastinate. So we're going to talk about quarterly and how to manage your quarterly most important things that you need to get done. And this method is called rocks. It is, I always like to try to share the origin of things that I use. I was going to say share again, but share, use. And this one is so EOS uses it, which stands for Entrepreneurial Operating System. And I am not a trained franchisee or licensee of EOS, but I know a lot about it, and I have implemented EOS in several companies. And also, prior to that, the reference that I have found has been from Stephen Covey, who also, his company also has a method called 4DX. So it's used in different kinds of methods. This is my version of it that I will share with you. So basically, the way to, this is a document used to track your quarterly progress. So what you can do first is look at your yearly goals. Okay. And this is a quarterly practice that you're going to do. Annually, you're going to, upon inception of your business, you're going to do some business planning with visioning where you want to be 5 years, maybe even 10 years, just long-term vision and direction. And then you want to have your 1-year goals. And then you're going to break them down into, okay, what do we need to do every 90 days to hit these goals? And so before I dive in to show you how the Rock Planner works, I'm going to tell you a little bit more of the background of rocks. So rocks are the absolute must-dos for you each 90 days. And your company will have rocks, and you should have no more than 5 rocks. 3 to 5 is the sweet spot for rocks. Okay, so for example, for me, in my consulting and coaching business, my rocks, I actually finished them before the end of Q4, and I'm so excited about that. So like, for example, one of my rocks was to have my online program in a platform and actually online so that I can start bringing people into my program. So as you can see, a rock is something, it's not necessarily a goal. Like I have goals. I have a goal of having 100 participants, members in my program by the end of 2024. That's a goal. But rocks are the things that I can actually control to get me to my goals. So something that I could control was putting the content into a system. I chose School, SKOOL for now. And I had a few other rocks that I won't bother. I won't share all the details, but I was really excited that I got all my rocks done, and you can too. So what you want to do first, you might be a solo founder, you might have a team. And I'll talk about if you have a team, how to do it, and then you can figure out how to do it. If you are a solo founder, that's a lot more straightforward. But if you have a team, say, for example, one of my clients, there's two co-founders. And so what you want to do first is decide what are the things that need to get done. what are the things that need to get done in the company as a whole? Okay, so what are the most important things that we need to do as a company these next 90 days? And then from there, you want to establish 3 to 5 company rocks. From there, then you can delegate the rocks per person, meaning who's responsible for these rocks. So for example, let's use my program as an example, my online program. Or actually, no, let's talk about recruiting and staffing specifically and how I've used rocks in that case study. So for example, a rock might be implement standard operating procedures, SOPs for sales, cold sales outreach. That might be a rock. Okay, notice the rock is not get 3 new anchor clients. That would be a goal, but a rock would be to establish, if you don't have your sales system in place yet, a rock could be to create and establish your sales system. So, because those are things that are actually in your control. So now let's look at the planner. And I will, if you're watching this on YouTube or LinkedIn, I'll put a link so that you can get this. I can send it to you. And if you're in my program, it'll be here in the platform. Okay, so first you want to. I'm going to get a tissue really quickly. So you want to. Some things are really obvious, like who owns the rock and what's the current date. So. Short title of the rock, describe the rock, and then you'll see here, I want to show you, you've probably heard of SMART goals. Is it specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time framed? So you want to just be able to analyze to answer those questions. Is this to determine, like, is this really a rock? And then you can fill this out too. What are the steps? So a step, for example, like describe activity required. So say it's building a sales system. It might be, the first step might be learning 3 different, maybe I'm going to identify, if I'm going to build the sales system that's right for me, maybe the first step will be to identify 3 to 5 sales systems, possibilities of outreach that I want to explore. And that could be the first step. Mid step could be, maybe I decide to implement 2 or 3 of those sales strategies just to test. A mid step might be evaluating, and so you can see there's a few different mid steps. You can add more if you need to. So this basically tells you if you're on track. So for example, if you're 2 months into the quarter and you haven't been trying anything yet, you're off track. However, if you are testing and you can report back to your co-founder or yourself or, your coach, and you can say, hey, this is what I've learned. And I actually got some responses. I'm setting up some sales calls. So that would be a mid step. And then to describe your finish line. So a finish line for this might be, if your rock is to set up your sales systems, maybe it's for the year that you're going to do. The finish line could be you might X number, like it could even be 1. You could have one reliable sales SOP, standard operating procedure, in place and operating. That might be the finish line to the rock. And then you want to list any resources that you need for completion. Sometimes if you're on a team, like say, for example, when you add to your team and you're managing people, they might need your time. They might need time from somebody else to complete it, or maybe it is software, or maybe some other resource or vendor. And then your limitations could be, whatever your limitations are, so that you can discuss if you're coming up with issues, and you can think about what might prevent you from hitting those goals or completing those rocks that will get you to hit those goals. And then when you finish, and so each rock, like each individual rock, is going to support a company rock. So everybody's rocks are based on what is the most important thing the company has to do in the next 90 days. And then what you want to do is, if you do have a team, bring it to your team, discuss the rocks, and make sure you can challenge each other on your rocks, where you might say, are you sure you're going to be able to do this? Be able to call each other out on things that you might see or alert or share ideas. Then there are different ways to track. Okay, so there's softwares that you can use. I like to use, currently I'm using Asana with my team. Trello is another project management app that you could use. There is also, if you are doing EOS, Entrepreneurial Operating System, they have customized software. You can ask me for recommendations of different softwares that you can use if you want to use a software to track. But for now, I keep it pretty simple. I use Asana. You can also you can create a template for tracking in these. Well, actually, they have them. I think you might need the paid version, but you can track your deadlines in any different project management tool. But this is something that you can also keep really simple. Keep it on, you can keep it on a whiteboard. That is something that I've done. I actually have a whiteboard in my home office with my rocks on them. I use Asana, but I also really find it helpful to just actually have on my board, just in, like, I can look at it every single day and make sure that I'm on track, and it feels really good to check them off. And then when you're meeting with your team, or if you're meeting with your coach every week, then you can update if you are on track or off track, with the idea of, if you're off track, to discuss what can help you to get back on track. So that's how I use a Smart Rock Planner to help me. Really, this is the best thing that I have done as far as keeping track of my quarterly goals. I find it works really well. Of course, like anything, it only works if you work it. So let me know if you have any questions, and hope this was helpful. I'm Diane Prince. I help recruiting and staffing founders. If you're in my program, you already know that. And I help startups, small businesses, to build the company that they want, and that matches their personal vision of what they want to get out of it. So, if you're watching this online, don't forget to follow and like, and for more. And if you're in my program, just then you can ask direct questions. You have access to me. As you know, feel free to just ask me directly, and we can take it offline, and either in our next session or on message. Okay, I'll talk to you guys soon, and I hope that helped. Let me know, and happy rock planning.